Hey all you Splinterheads, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. This is Bronze Dragon. I cover Splinterlands news and gameplay, as well as other games, but Splinterlands is my primary game. If you've been keeping up with the current Welcome to Splinterlands series, this is the third edition, or the third episode rather. In the first episode, we covered how to get logged into the game, how to secure your keys, and a number of other items around that topic. In the second episode, we took a tour around the user interface and explained how to get to everything and where you would want to go to various areas in the UI as you're playing. And this is the third episode, which leads up to this. The first two episodes, relatively dry. I hope I gave a little bit of flavor to them, but in this episode, we're going to go ahead and dive in and say, well, what do I do next? I'm new to the game. What happens next? So we'll go ahead and start off. I want to keep this relatively short, but I want to give you a good, well-rounded presentation of how to get started in the game. The place to start, I would say, is the tutorial. If you happen to skip through it, when you first got into the game, then I would say go back and do it. Up here, how to play leads you into the tutorial. Okay. Now, this lets you play through a number of games and get the hang of different strategies and how to play the game strictly against the computer. After that's complete, and I'm going to assume by this point you're pretty interested in the game and you've went ahead and you've bought the spellbook and you have some, your spellbook cards to play with. You will be, let's go ahead and take a look at the leagues. League details. You start off in novice. Okay. You won't be a novice very long, but it does give you a place, a position league-wise to play against others that are also starting off just like yourself, who mostly will just have spellbooks as well, and you're not going to be playing any overpowered opponents. This is a short period to give you time to get used to playing the cards in your spellbook, as well as different strategies you may like, figure out what things are starting to work for you, and what things are definitely not working for you. So overall, the novice period does not last too long. You can be assured that while you're playing in novice, you're playing against other people that are just starting out just like yourself, or against the computer. Now, once you rise out of novice, you win enough games to get out of novice and you make your way into bronze, you cannot go back into novice. Okay. Now, the difference between these leagues at this point in time is card power. Up to this point in time, card power has separated the leagues. Everything needs to be rated on something, and basically card power is how many cards you have. Each card is rated a certain amount of card power. The commons, low-end, cheap ones have a very small amount of card power. The high-end, gold, foil, really expensive ones have a lot of card power, basically put. And up to now, that's how the leagues have been separated. You post-video Bronze Dragon popping in here while I was editing the video, I wanted to tell you why I emphasized the fact that up to this point, card power was used to decide leagues. I said that because we are getting ready to go through a change in the game, and going forward in the near future when it goes live, leagues will be, the league lines will be drawn by how much SPS you have staked. So as you're going along, earning chests and such, and playing matches and earning SPS that is staked, that'll start accruing for you naturally. You can also buy some and stake it. We'll cover that in a future episode about purely just crypto. but I wanted to draw that designation there because in the near future, you will have to have certain levels of SPS staked to make it into, to climb the league ranks. So just something to think about. They haven't announced the values yet, what each league will need, but we'll expect that in a town hall or an announcement going forward. Now back to your regularly scheduled video. Okay, that's all well and good, you may say. How do I get this card power? Well, there's two basic ways, and there's one additional way that's come online within the last couple months that I will tell you about afterwards. The two basic ways are to buy or rent, and that's as simple as going to the market and clicking on either card sales or card rentals. You can rent for 2, 3, 4, 5 days, or you can rent for a whole season if you want. Now, what happens is, as you play along with your spell book, you're going to find strategies that you like to play and that you find that work for you. Or you may watch videos. There's lots of great creators on YouTube that are putting out videos about strategies. HL49, Cryptomancer, Gathering the Magic, just trying to think of a few others. All great creators that are putting out good videos about strategy, worth watching. But as you go along, you're going to find cards that you want to play with. And the first step is coming in and just renting one, or renting a bunch of them. Say, for instance, I wanted to play Angel. Well, let's sort by the new ones because that's most likely what you're going to play with. Nothing against playing with the older cards, but as you first come into the game, you'll find that it's it's cheaper to start with the newer ones. And you sort by using this Chaos Legion set. This takes into account all the subsets near that were created around Chaos Legion, which is within the last year and a half. So from here, you'll say, hey, maybe I would like to play with Conqueror Jasek. Okay, you click on it and then click on the for rent, and you can see that for 5.66 DEC a day, or you can rent for credits, you can rent this out. Pretty cheap, seeing as how if you use credits, 5.66 is 5.5 US cents per day. Not bad. And the easiest way to do this is just to come up here to add credits, and you can buy credits with PayPal, Venmo, you can use crypto, a variety of ways. So that's the simplest way to put money into the game and rent cards out. So you get a bunch rented out and you start playing. Well, why would you want to do that? Well, that strengthens your deck. It makes it more likely that you're going to win because you're using stronger cards. A side effect also is that you will start winning, or you will start earning SPS when you win a match. So I'm just going to go into my last match here, and I'm going to replay it just to give you a brief example. And we're going to skip to the results. I know I won this one. But on the results page here, you can see that I earned a certain amount of points, and this goes towards earning your way up through the leagues as you're climbing. And I earned a certain amount of SPS. In this case, I earned 0.865. But if you hovered over this, if I can get right on there, you can see that I earned a certain amount for having my own cards. If you're playing with all spellbook cards, you will be making 0 SPS. You will also see that I made plus 60% because I was using a few different focus cards that were in my daily focus. And I earned an extra 15% because I am in a guild. But you will also see that I get minus 10% because one of the cards I used was under leveled for my current rank. Now, don't get confused. Don't worry. Take a breath. Basically, what this means is that as you go along and you play, you want to strengthen your deck and play with higher level cards, whether those cards are rented or bought. Right now, it's cheaper to rent your cards, play on a daily basis, look at what your daily focus is. For instance, today my daily focus is water. So I get more points towards my daily focus if I play water cards. And on a daily basis, I earn chests that whenever I open, I can earn a variety of things from SPS, potions for pack openings, or the best thing in a new player's situation is to earn cards. You earn cards in your daily focus chests as well as your season end focus chests. And going back to what I was originally talking about, renting and or buying cards for your deck helps you get those chests, which in turn helps you strengthen your deck more. So it's like this constant cycle, right? So let's go in, and since I was talking about, let's just look at the owned. These are the soulbound cards that I've earned over the years. The gray ones are guild specific, but the colored ones are of the new variety, the new soulbound reward set, which are all gotten out of daily and season chests. So as I'm playing along, I'm earning these cards, and they are helping strengthen my deck. So just to kind of wrap that up, after you've been running the cards for a while and you feel good about some cards, they're working well for you, then you can kind of toss it around in your mind. Do I want to buy those? Say, for instance, Conqueror Jasek was working really well for me. And I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and buy him. Then you can come in, and instead of going under the rental, you can go under the buy and choose which one you want to buy. Obviously, you might want to choose the cheapest one. However, I will caution you, it's very... you might want to jump on the cheapest one, but in the long term, if you consider leveling up the cards, the cheapest way to go is cards that have multiple BCX or multiple copies. Let's go back to another example. Let's get off of summoners and just go to monsters. And let's just look at commons. So here's a favorite common of mine. I love the Stitch Leech. You will see that if I buy one, it's 0.67 cents per copy. And if I know that I'm playing in bronze and I might need a level 4 common to be the max level for that summoner I'm playing, then I need 30 copies. And if you're looking at the sale, you may see a level 4 that is already to where you want it. Somebody's selling that, and the price per BCX is much lower than what you would pay if you were just buying one at a time. So you always want to be on the lookout for deals, basically. With that said, I will show you a secondary website that is where I do most of my buying, and most of the people I know I've seen online also do. If you look at the top of this website, of the market website UI, you will see the link to Peak Monsters. And you will see the link to 3 other places that also sell cards. So a lot of times it will behoove you to check amongst the websites to see where you can find your best deals. But I use Peak Monsters primarily. And let's go over to my main account. I was still logged into my secondary account. We can go to the top here, and you can see that you can look at what cards you own, or you can go to the buy section. And this is the market. And you can do all your sorting to the right. Say, for instance, I was wanting to look at Chaos Legion, and I wanted to look at commons. And I wanted to go over and look at the card Stitch Leech we were looking at before. You can see here it is. You can click it. You can get all the information here. And you can see the multiple copies that are for sale. This page, or this website, offers you a lot of functionality that the main website does not. You can make bids. If, for instance, you felt that you did not want to pay 0.67 cents per copy for that card, you could come over to bids and you could bid a little lower. See, these folks are bidding 0.063 and 0.064. And sometimes people will come in and say, well, I've got a bunch of Stitch Leeches I need to sell, and sell it to them, and you would get it a little bit cheaper. Or you could just come in here and say, like my previous example, click bulk buy and say, well, I need 30 copies. And then it would come up with the cheapest combination of cards that were for sale for that many BCX, and you add them to your cart. And then you would come up to your cart and you would check out. You would need the credits in your account or the DEC in your account to pay for it. But as soon as you bought them here, they would be available in-game for you to use. Now, that covers buying and that covers renting. The third option is a new service that has come online relatively recently, and I'm trying to scroll down here. Okay, this is it. Another service that's available currently is from Nfty Arcade, which has partnered with Splinterlands, and basically Splinterlands opened a bunch of packs, and they made a bunch of decks, and they are allowing Nfty Arcade to let new players use them. So I don't have all the facts about this service, but if you're new, it's definitely worth checking out. I'll leave the link in the show notes, but you come over to the Nfty Arcade, look under Game Discovery, select Splinterlands, and I heard tell that there was a waiting line, but I don't know. I would come over here, and if I was starting out, I would come check this service out, because if you can get one of their decks and play for free for a while using good cards and earn chests to build up your deck, that's the way to go. And then if you couldn't get in, then the second way would be to rent and then buy. So definitely a nice service. This was not around when I first started playing. So let's go back here. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up so it doesn't get too much longer. My points in this video were play through the tutorial, start getting a feel for it. Play into Novice and through Novice with your spellbook. Once you get into Bronze, you're starting to get the feel for the game. Check out Nfty Arcade. If you can get a deck from them, great. If not, start renting cards. You start with renting summoners. Rent 2 or 3 summoners. That gives you 2 or 3 strong splinters to play. For playing in Bronze, you're going to want to rent at level 2. Just briefly, let's look at level 2 summoner again, because I want to make another point. If you look at a level 2 summoner, you can see the max level cards that that level 2 summoner can cast. 3, 2, 2, 1. As you're renting other cards, keep this in mind. So if I rent a level 2 Tarsa, there's no point in me running a level 2 legendary because she can only cast it at level 1. So keep that in mind, because I advise level 2 summoners in bronze because that's the max level you can use in bronze of a rare summoner. And we talked about this earlier. And you're going to rent your other cards at the appropriate level to make full use of that summoner. And you may ask me, well, why would I want to do that? I could just play level 1s. You could do that, but it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to get the win whenever you're playing level 1s and you may be playing against people who are playing leveled up summoners. Okay, so, but we'll talk about that more in future episodes. And I didn't really even scrape the topic of how to actually play, as far as different, what different splinters are good at and how to actually compose. We'll cover that in the future video. And there are other people out there that are making videos really good at that. So I'll tell you. Now we went through that, and I just want to leave you with this point of mine, is that you need to set a budget. Okay, step back, think about how much you're enjoying the game, set a weekly budget, and stick to that budget. Otherwise, you may find yourself FOMOing, fear of missing out, and buying in over your head and being sorry you did. I'm not sorry about the money I've spent on these games over the years, but there was a point in time where I was spending a lot and I had to step back and rein in my budget. So with that said, as we go forward, you can look forward to more episodes in this line, and we'll dig in a little bit more to the gameplay as we go along. I do appreciate your time. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you and your family are doing well. This is Bronze Dragon signing off and saying, I'll see you on the flip side.